I am 63 years old. If you looked at me today, walking down the street, you would just see a solitary woman. A little stooped, perhaps, grey hair tied back in a sensible bun. You wouldn't look twice. You certainly wouldn't know that for 62 of those years, I was never just I. I was always we. We were born 12 minutes apart. We shared a face, a voice, and for the vast majority of our lives, we shared a roof. But today, the silence in my house is so loud it makes my ears ring. I'm telling you this story not because I want your pity. I don't deserve it, and it wouldn't help me even if I did. I am telling you this because there is a specific kind of arrogance that comes with knowing someone your entire life. You think you know every breath they take. You think you know what every glance means, every sigh, every sound. You think you are so connected that nothing could ever really separate you. I thought that. And because I was so sure of it, I made a mistake that cannot be fixed. To understand the end, you have to understand the beginning. You have to understand how tight the knot was tied. My sister, her name was Sarah, and I were those twins. You know the kind. Our mother started it, dressing us in identical pinafores and ribbons, but we were the ones who continued it long after we had the autonomy to stop. It wasn't that we were trying to be cute, it was just that we didn't feel like separate people. If I bought a beige cardigan, Sarah wanted the same one. If she cut her hair short, I felt the weight of my own long hair as a burden until I cut mine too. We never married. There were suitors occasionally, back in our 20s. Men would come around, usually intrigued by the novelty of us. But they never lasted. A man wants a wife, not a committee. And that's what we were, a closed circuit. We finished each other's sentences, not as a party trick, but because our thoughts ran on the same track. We found comfort in our own reflection. Why would we need anyone else when we had the person who understood us perfectly without a single word being spoken? When our parents passed, we inherited the family property. It was a large plot of land, and we made a decision that seemed practical at the time. We built a house, a duplex. It was one building, but divided perfectly down the middle. I lived on the left, Sarah lived on the right. We shared a porch, and we shared a central wall. We had our own front doors, our own kitchens, our own living rooms. It was the perfect arrangement. We could have dinner together every night, which we did, and then retreat to our own spaces to sleep. We had closeness, and we had privacy. We thought we had solved the problem of loneliness forever. For 30 years, that house was our world. We aged together. We watched the wrinkles appear on each other's faces, which was a strange thing, like watching a preview of your own decay or a memory of it. We became those eccentric ladies on the hill, the twins, the two halves of the whole. But even in the closest relationships, friction happens. When you live that close to someone, the irritations are small, but they repeat. They dig grooves into you. For us, the friction was the television. As we got older, into our late 50s, our hearing started to go. Just a little. Sarah refused to admit it. She wouldn't get a hearing aid. Instead, she would turn her television up. She liked those loud game shows, the ones with the buzzers and the screaming audiences. I preferred to read. In the evenings, after we had washed our dinner dishes and gone to our separate sides of the house, the noise would bleed through the wall. That shared wall. The wall that connected us and divided us. We developed a system, a code. It wasn't a kind system looking back. It was a system born of sisterly annoyance. If her TV was too loud, I would walk over to the wall in my living room and I would knock. Thump, thump, thump. It meant, "Turn it down, Sarah." And usually she would knock back. Thump, thump. Acknowledged. And the volume would go down. Sometimes she would be stubborn. She wouldn't turn it down right away. So I would knock harder. Bang, bang, bang. I'd shout at the drywall, "It's too loud!" We did this for years. It became a ritual, a petty nightly grievance. It was the only way we fought. We never yelled to each other's faces. We just thumped on the wall. It feels sick to say this now, but there were nights I enjoyed it. It was a way of asserting myself, a way of saying, "I am here and you are annoying me." It implies a relationship that is so secure you can afford to be rude. You can afford to be impatient because you know they will be there in the morning. 6 months ago, it was a Tuesday. It was November. The wind was blowing hard outside, rattling the window panes. It was a cold night. We had eaten a casserole together at 5 o'clock. We talked about the garden. We talked about the leak in the gutter. She seemed fine. She was Sarah. She was me. We went to our separate sides at 7. I settled into my armchair with a book. I remember I was reading a history of the royal family. I made a cup of tea. Around 8 o'clock, I heard it, the faint murmur of her television. It wasn't overly loud at first, but it was there, a low drone through the plaster and wood. I tried to ignore it. I turned the page. Then I heard a sound. Thump, thump, thump. She was knocking on the wall. I frowned. My television wasn't even on. The house was silent on my side. I thought perhaps she was confused. Or perhaps she was knocking to tell me something mundane, like she forgot to tell me the weatherman predicted snow. I ignored it. I didn't want to get up. I was warm under my blanket. A minute later, it came again. Thump, 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 thump. It was louder this time, more erratic. I felt that flash of irritation. You know that feeling when a family member demands your attention and you just don't want to give it? I thought she was being difficult. Maybe she couldn't find her remote. Maybe she dropped something. Whatever it was, I decided it could wait. We were old, but we weren't helpless. "Stop it, Sarah," I muttered to the empty room. I picked up my book again. Then came the sound that haunts me every time I close my eyes. It was a sustained pounding, not a rhythmic knock. It sounded like a fist or maybe an object hitting the drywall. Bang, bang, bang. And I got angry. I genuinely got angry. I thought she was having a tantrum. I thought she was demanding I come over there to fix the antenna or look at something on the screen. I thought, I am not your servant. I am tired. I stood up, walked to the wall, and I hit it back with the palm of my hand. Hard. Quiet down, I shouted. I am trying to read. I hit the wall again. Go to sleep, Sarah! The pounding on her side stopped. There was silence. I stood there for a moment, waiting for her to knock back, waiting for the retort. But there was nothing. Just the wind outside. Good, I thought. She finally got the message. I went back to my chair. I drank my tea. I finished my chapter. Eventually, I went to bed. I slept soundly. I slept so peacefully, thinking I had won the little argument, thinking I had set a boundary. I woke up the next morning to the smell. It wasn't a strong smell of burning wood, like a bonfire. It was acrid, chemical. It was the smell of melted plastic and singed wiring. I sat up, confused. I looked around my room. No smoke. I put on my robe and went to the kitchen. The smell was stronger there. It was coming from the vents. I opened my front door to check the porch, and that's when I saw the soot. It was streaked around the edges of Sarah's front door. The windows on her side of the duplex were dark, coated in a black film from the inside. I didn't scream. Not yet. My brain couldn't process it. I walked to her door and turned the handle. It was hot. That was when I screamed. I won't tell you about the fire department. I won't tell you about the lights or the neighbours gathering on the lawn. Those are just blurry images to me now. I will tell you what the fire chief told me. It was an electrical short, an old space heater she had plugged in near her armchair. It had sparked and ignited the curtains, then the carpet. But the fire hadn't consumed the house. It had smouldered. It had eaten up the oxygen. It produced thick, toxic smoke that filled her side of the duplex within minutes. She hadn't burned to death. She had suffocated. She was found on the floor. She wasn't near the door. She wasn't near the window. She was found curled up against the shared wall. Our wall. The investigator said she probably became disoriented by the smoke very quickly. The carbon monoxide would have confused her. But she knew one thing. She knew I was on the other side. She wasn't knocking to annoy me. She wasn't knocking to tell me to turn down a television. She was knocking to say, "Help me." She was knocking to say, "I'm dying." And I stood on the other side, 3 inches of drywall and insulation away, and I banged back. I told her to be quiet. I told her to go to sleep. And she did. The guilt I carry is not something that gets lighter with time. People tell me, "You couldn't have known." It was an accident. Don't blame yourself. They are wrong. I could have known. If I had listened, truly listened, I would have heard that the rhythm was wrong. I would have heard the desperation in the heavy thuds. But I didn't listen to her. I listened to my own history of annoyance. I listened to my own assumption that I knew everything about her. I filtered her cry for help through the lens of a petty, decades-long grievance. I assumed there was tomorrow. I assumed she was just being Sarah and I was just being me, and that we would laugh about it over coffee in the morning. Now, I live in a house that is half dead. The smell of smoke is gone, scrubbed away by professionals, but I still smell it. I sleep in my bed on the left side. The right side is empty. We were born together. We came into this world holding hands practically. We lived our entire lives as a mirror image. We never spent more than a week apart, but in the moment that mattered most, the moment she faced the end, I wasn't her sister. I wasn't her twin. I was a stranger on the other side of a wall who told her to shut up. We died strangers. She died reaching for me, and I died the moment I realized I had ignored her. The woman who walks around this house now is just a shell. I want you to look at the people you love, the people you have lived with for 10, 20, 30 years, the people you think you know inside and out. Do not assume you know what they are saying. Do not let your shared history make you deaf to their present reality. When someone knocks, don't just knock back. Don't assume it's the same old noise. Open the door. Check on them. Because a wall is a very thin thing, but it is thick enough to hide the end of a life. And once the silence comes, you can knock as loud as you want. You can scream until your throat bleeds. There will be no answer.